Hello, my name's Kevin. This is Dirty 20 Gaming, and this time, after a very long break, we're going to be discussing what I think makes a great game master. First of all, what doesn't make a great game master? For one thing, an intimate knowledge of the rules does not guarantee skill as a dungeon master. I've known people that can quote you chapter and verse, but they were dull to play under because they didn't bring anything else to the game except for that knowledge of the rules. So you don't have to know the rules inside out, and you certainly don't need to be able to quote chapter and verse. As long as you're consistent, so your players know what to expect from you in your world, that's all you need as far as the rules go. Now, for some of the skills that great storytelling dungeon masters, game masters, narrators, whatever you want to call them, have. To me, one of the prime ones is going to come as absolutely no surprise to anybody, their storytelling ability. A great GM, their world is alive and it moves regardless of what the party does. Things happen, people have fights, power struggles occur, power changes in cities. They might not be dealing with the same people they were dealing with 6 months ago. Great GMs, NPCs, are three-dimensional. They're complete human beings. They've got dreams, they've got intentions, they've got goals, they're broken in interesting ways. Their worlds, in short, feel real. And that's the result of a huge amount of work on their part. Every one of those NPCs didn't just happen, they were made. Every one of these encounters didn't just happen, they were built. And this amazing story that you're telling with them didn't just happen, they facilitated it. Which brings me to my second point. A really good dungeon master has to have confidence in themselves. They need to be able to project a calm control of the situation. And not all GMs do this. Not all GMs can do this. But you can invoke deep emotional responses in your players because of your confidence and willingness to play out these deeply emotional scenes. If you'll go there, they'll come with you. But that requires that you be confident enough to play all your NPCs right out there in the open and on the edge, holding nothing back, and being confident that you can be these NPCs, get the information across, and make it feel real. Another one, and this one's kind of different. As a DM, you have to have a willingness to lose. Because it can wear on you. Believe me, it can wear on you losing every encounter and every battle, or nearly losing them. The temptation rises up to just unload on your party and just kick their asses. It can be very overwhelming at times, but a pro doesn't give in to that urge, no matter how tempting it can be. No, a pro will continue to allow the party to win and not take it personally and not get angry and not punish the party for succeeding. Another thing that you have to have if you're going to be a great GM, you also need this if you're going to be a great player, you need to be flexible in the extreme. And I don't mean physically. I mean mentally. It was Helmut von Moltke, the famous general, who once said, "No plan survives first contact with the enemy." Now, first of all, that's not what he said. He was German, so he said something in German that translates roughly to that. But the point is made, and the point works. You can have all the plans you want as a DM. And some of them really planned. Some of them have plans and counter plans and alternate plans. And some I've even seen have a tree of plans laid out with if-then statements leading from one box to the next. But it doesn't matter. There's no system you can do that guarantees you're ready for everything. Eventually, you're going to find yourself with no plan out in the wind as a GM. The difference is when this happens to a great GM, you'll never notice. As a player, you're never going to see it if they do it right. They trust themselves. It comes back to that confidence we were talking about before. They trust themselves to wing it, make it up on the fly. They will go with the flow of the scene and later go back and read their notes and conform everything to the world that they had built. And if they're really good at what they do, you will never know they did it. You will never know they made up the last 3/4 of that session today on the wing. Another really important thing that all great narrators have is they know how to share. Not just scenes, but their world. I mean, they built this world. They filled it with their NPCs. They planned enemy actions, and they keep everything going behind the scenes, even when the party isn't there. Having done all that, it can be tempting to go, mine, 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 and not let anybody in, or let them only experience it but not change anything. But a great narrator, a great game master shares it freely. The party can and will change their world, and a good GM will work alongside their players and combine their storytelling skills with them to tell a story that none of them could have told as individuals. A good GM also resists the urge to force activities or scenes on their players. A good GM prefers to interact with the party and together to tell a wonderful story in an ever-changing world that's been co-created by the Dungeon Master and the players. There's one final skill I want to talk about today, and this one can be touchy, but a really high-quality Dungeon Master, Game Master, narrator, story facilitator, whatever you want to call them, has to know how to say no. And for the most part, Game Masters say yes and, just like good improvers. They might also say yes but, which is also acceptable, but it's accepting what the party has said and limiting it in some way. Let me give you an example. Your rogue in your party says, I sneak past all the guards and find the war boss's tent. And your response is, okay, you get within 50 feet, but there's no cover from there on in, and there's 3 very alert guards standing at the tent's door. Your party might not even know you said no, but you did. And that's what I mean about knowing how to say no. There has to be a reason, it has to be believable, and it has to work in the story. Let me give you another example here. This case, this is when the GM needs to say a hard no. Somebody has said something and you have to say, not happening. A good GM will try and avoid this, first of all, and they'll try yes, but. And if that doesn't work, they have to say no. But if you have to say no, explain why to the player. The character might not have this information, but if you tell the player why it failed, you might get a better response. Let me give you an example. That same scenario, that was the rogue's approach. So they're stymied, and now the wizard says, well, I cast fear, and when the guards run away, we sneak into the war boss's tent. And in response, you as a DM say, you cast fear, and it has no effect. These guards must be immune. Who knows? Maybe they're undead. So you gave them a reason to why you said no. and all you've done is make their job more difficult. Don't say no to stop progress. Say no to make it more challenging. You can also use this to add tension to a scene. If they're rolling through a situation, hit your party with a hard no and make them rethink. Let me summarize. There's been a lot of talking. Whew. I think, in my personal opinion, and if you pushed me to write it down or say record it in video format, I would suggest that great GMs have a specific skill set that makes them great. And some, but not all of those skills include storytelling, self-confidence, a willingness to lose, flexibility, knowing how to share, and knowing how to say no. It's not that much, but it can make you a great game master instead of just a good one. I haven't done one of these in a while because I was waiting for inspiration. I wanted to do these because they made a difference or they mattered to me, not just because I came up with another idea. And this one was really simple to figure out, and I should have done it a long time ago because this video was directly inspired by one of my GMs. And if you want to see a great game master in action, go to the Mercs of Mischief Twitch site on Sundays and Monday nights and watch Puck, Lord of Chaos, herd 8 cats in 2 games through one world of his creation. And after you do that, you're going to want to catch up on all the stuff that's gone before. And you can do that at the Mercs of Mischief YouTube channel. All those links will be in below. But Puck, buddy, this one's for you. For those of you that like this video, go ahead and click that thumb underneath. Give me a thumbs up. That would be really nice. And if you really liked it and you'd like to see more of this kind of stuff, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm actually getting fairly close to 100, which means I get to have a nice, pretty YouTube channel title, instead of just the rank list of numbers and letters that it is now. And I'd really appreciate that. So thanks to all of you. And as always, no matter what game you're playing, play creatively. Bye.